Are you ready to embrace aging with vitality and purpose? Welcome to Essential Wellness, the podcast dedicated to empowering women to live their best lives at any and every age. Join us as we explore the secrets to living and aging well with insightful conversations on health, wellness, and finding meaning, purpose, and passion in midlife and beyond. I'm your host, Dr. Mikel Segal. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited to be having this conversation with Dr. Lise Janelle. She's with us today, and Dr. Lise is a performance and results expert, I should say, acclaimed author and sought-after speaker dedicated to helping high-achieving athletes and entrepreneurs understand how tweaking their subconscious beliefs can show up as wins or losses in all areas of their life and can mean millions of dollars to their bottom line, love or divorce, success or failure. So I'm really excited to have Dr. Lise here with us today. So welcome, Dr. Lise, and please share a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
About myself. Well, the way I ended up doing this work is that, like many people, starts with a tragedy. In 1988, my father was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He was given 9 months to live. That was 3 weeks before my sister's wedding. A week after my sister's wedding, my 21-year-old brother died in a car accident. And
Mm.
within a month of this, my 8-year relationship to the man I thought I was going to marry ended. And it
Wow.
was like, ow,
Wow.
ow, ow. And I use this all the time. I use my yin yang. So
Oh,
the pain was so great. The pain was so great that to get away from it, it sent me on a quest to understand what does it take to live an amazing life, that so that when these things happen, because it's not if, it's when they happen, how do
yeah.
we cope with them so we don't get squished?
Yeah.
So, it sent me on the path of my background. I'm a chiropractor. So it sent me on the path to understand more, bringing more healing. And then I discovered two are actually my basic fundamental mentor. One is Dr. John DeMartini, and he taught me the power of gratitude. And the other one is Dr. Scott Walker, and he does mind body work.
Yeah.
And I ended up, doing this stuff. And the first time I went for understanding this is because I was frustrated. I could have 10 patients with the same low back condition, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
8 of them would get better, but 2 of them, no matter what I was doing, it was not nudging them. So by discovering the mind body work, I was
Mm-hmm.
able to get these people better. Like even me, I had a scoliosis, a S in my spine that was 18-degree thoracic and 21 lumbar. And through doing the mind body work, last time I took an x-ray a long, long time ago, it was 3 and 5. So I literally know it in my bones.
Wow.
That you can achieve. So, but then I love helping people being healthier, but I also understand that when people are happier, they have more vitality. This is how you really impact longevity and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And most people, and this is, I'm passionate about this, most people don't understand. A lot of people understand that it's important to have clarity to get a good life, but most people don't understand that 90 to 95% what we do is actually pre-programmed.
Yes.
So you won't create what you want, you're going to create what you believe.
Mm.
You won't create what you want, you're going to create what you believe. The problem is most people don't know what they believe. Like, so for me, the first time I did this work, I put, you can use muscle testing. I tested myself and I'm really willing and able to be successful. Subconsciously, I was not. Why? And it's really cool. When you do the method, it's like, we call that a pop. It just pops. And I remember I'm 5 years old. I'm sitting there coloring in my coloring book, and my little sister is 3.5. I finished before her. I showed to my mother. I said, look, mom. And she says, well done, Lise. You colored between the lines. It's beautiful. Real artistic people don't think so. But anyway. That's what my mom said. And my little sister, because she's 3.5, she couldn't do that yet. So she ran away crying. So I stood there and I'm going, wow, this is not fun. When I'm successful, I hurt other people's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And worse, I end up alone. And
Right.
this is this is not unique to me. I have found this kind of story with so many people. Like, you know, I'm going to use money just because money is a number, but it's the same thing for relationship or health or longevity or anything. It's like, let's say you have the capacity of making $500,000 a year. But because of subconscious belief, not wanting to be better than others, you keep yourself at 250.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this gap in there that you won't break through because your subconscious doesn't want. Like, I was keynote speaker at a conference in Chicago, and I had 350 coaches from North America and Europe. So coaches are supposed to be all about success.
Mm-hmm.
And so I talk about this, and I offer at the end, I said, if you want, I can test you to see if you're congruent with being successful. I had at least 100 coaches lined up, and out of the 100, only one was
Wow.
congruent. Almost everybody associates fulfilling their potential, being the full expression of themselves, with leaving people they love behind, or
Mm-hmm.
having people, resent them for being successful, or feeling like they're a bad person, somehow they don't do something. So we, all of us have stories. It is impossible. It is absolutely impossible to not have these beliefs. And that's why I'm so passionate, because people end up stuck, and then they end up thinking, I'm just unlucky. I'm not supposed to have what I want in life. And it's not true. It's absolutely not true.
Yeah. Fascinating. And I want to talk more about, how your work and how you do it and all about the subconscious beliefs. But just going back to your story again, which is like just an amazing story, but the tragedy that you kind of had to work through. So you talked about how you especially connected with the gratitude work and the mind body. And how long did that take for you to kind of get through that and build your beliefs and your,
My method.
yeah, and your method?
Well, I discovered this in 1989, and I literally, Michael, I work with thousands of people one on one.
Mm,
And after a while,
yeah.
if you're not too thick, you start to see patterns. And so I really got passionate, because it was fun for me to get rid of people's pain, and we can do that. But what I really love, what juices me, is when I help people. And like, it makes me tear up every time. It's like when I see the sparkle in people's eyes when they get it, like when they really get that they are capable of getting an amazing life, that the stories had been holding them back. But so in 2003, I decided, okay, I sold my chiropractic business, and I pinched my nose and jumped in to become a full-time coach. And then I had a client in Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
And with the work I was doing before, you needed to do muscle testing. Well, I can back then we didn't even have Zoom, so I was on the phone, and I was so frustrated, because I knew that the reason he couldn't, fulfill his goals was because he had a subconscious belief. So necessity is the mother of all inventions.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, by the grace of God, I don't know how it happened, but I ended up creating this method, and it's an easy 10-step method that allows us, because I teach it. People can learn how to do it for themselves. I certify coaches, and they can do it too. But like, I have a 4-year-old that, that does the method. So you can learn to do it fairly easily. But
Yeah.
it's 10 steps that allow you to access the subconscious mind and find a moment, an event, created a story that is now keeping you stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just dissolve that and bring the best. And it's so cool, like, and that's why I love working with driven people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people come to see me sometimes just because they want me to get unstuck. But for me, if when I'm working with someone who's really driven, that wants, results, that's why I like entrepreneurs or parents who don't want to mess up their kids, or athletes, or that people like want to do something, because their energy like really helps the results. Like, one of the most epic story I have on that one is, I had an Olympic level skier,
Mm-hmm.
She came to see me. She had not placed in 2 years. And so imagine an Olympic level skier, consciously, you want to win. Yes?
Yes.
You're training all the time. And if you're Canadian Olympic skier, you have no money, you have no social life, you're just doing it for the glory. So consciously, obviously, she
Mm-hmm.
wanted it. But when I tested her on I want to win, lo and behold, she didn't want to win.
Mm,
Why? When she was 7 years old, she was already winning, but her brothers were not. So her mom was hiding her medals and her trophies not to make the brothers feel bad.
mm,
Can you imagine? So now she had associated again.
right.
When I win, I upset other people.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pavlov's dog, conditioned response, so the bell rings, you're competing against people. Subconsciously, they feel like siblings. So now she was holding herself back, not to upset others.
Wow.
So there were other stories, but that one was like the most like, wow. And so we had 2 sessions. She went back and she ended up on the podium. And she said she got a lot luckier afterwards. And she ended up going from 31 in the world and retiring third in the world.
Wow. A lot luckier. So did she see the connection
Oh,
between?
yeah. Yeah. There's a testimonial from her on my website.
Yeah.
Like she talks about this. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Amazing.
it's so cool when you can do. Because, people know, you probably have read the book Think and Grow Rich.
One.
Oh, it's like a big classic. A lot of people have read that one. There's like the Secret of the Millionaire Mind, or the movie
Yeah.
The Secret, and all those ones. And it's so true that you need a clear picture of what you want so you can decide to take the right action. Am I getting closer or more away from what I want to create? But people don't understand that until you work with the subconscious mind, you
Mm,
can win the game of life.
amazing.
You're only using half of what you need to be doing. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I'm passionate, because otherwise people feel hopeless. Like I have actually a peer review study that came out on my method, and one of the outcome that people say that they get is that they get more hope that they can have a great life. They have more confidence that life is not just happening to them, that
Mm-hmm.
actually they can create their life. And that decreases cortisol, anxiety, enhances vitality, longevity. All of these things come together with that.
Very cool. So just again, going back to the story about the person in Madrid that you were working with. So that was how you created this method. And how
Mhm.
did it work that time with
Oh, that was
the
amazing
end
for
of
him.
the story?
Oh, for him, the end of the story was great, because he had a certain amount of money he wanted to make a month, and he was always like, the only thing he would do is see his patients, go back home, go into his tranquility tank and rest and eat and sleep and come back. And he was so afraid of letting go of, working all the time. He was not taking any vacation. So that's something I always do with my clients. It's like I help them live from their heart, not from their fears,
Mm-hmm.
because the power is in the heart. So we did the mind body work, and he ended up taking like 6 weeks off that year. He was working 2 days, half time it was doing, and 1 day off. And I got him to have an associate take over. He was making the same amount of money, having more fun
Mm-hmm. Wow.
and having better results. It's so cool. It's kind of like being an alchemist, you just work with it, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Very cool. Okay, so now I want to kind of get back into a topic that you and I both feel very strongly about, vitality, longevity, and how do you make the connection with the clearing these subconscious blocks in order to kind of enhance your vitality and overall wellness?
For me, I use what I call is the health triangle. So to be healthy, you need the structural, the biochemical, and the emotional. So
Mm-hmm.
I believe the natural state of a human being is to be healthy, and we only have this ease when there's a block to that life force. So structurally, exercising is important, massage, chiropractic care, all of these are important. Biochemically, your nutrition, even the lotions you put on your body, electromagnetic fields in the air, all this has a huge impact on your biochemistry. And the other one is emotions. And I would say, from my experience, 60% of your life force actually connects with how connected you are in your heart. The more you are connected in your heart and in a state of gratitude, you bring homeostasis. You help to balance all the systems in the body, and you just make everything more efficient. When people are connected inside, they decrease cortisol. And as you know, cortisol is the big killer. So you decrease cortisol, you increase. Every time someone does the heart freedom method, every single time you do it, you increase your self-worth. Because gratitude is the key. Because if you can realize that something you thought was so bad, but like me, like I told you about my story, I would not have chosen to have these three things happen at once, but I'm sitting here in front of you, speaking with you because of that experience. So when we're able to go back and actually gain gratitude, even though it was painful, then we release ourselves, because otherwise we constantly subconsciously have a fear that this could be recreated in the future. So when we heal the initial moment when something was stored in our physiology, we can relax it, but also now we can project ourselves into the future with less fear, because we understand that no matter what, we're going to benefit from it. No matter how painful it is, we're going to benefit from it.
So are you saying that the subconscious blocks most of the time is the fear that whatever tragedy that occurred or whatever sort of incident that was upsetting or hurtful is going to happen again? That's the main block?
Yeah, well, I wrote a book, Conversation with the Heart. It's a pretty good book, I must say. I think so. My client in Madrid said, Lise, your book is all meat, no potatoes. That's how we say in Spain.
That's a compliment, I'm sure.
I think so. But one chapter, I say, anything you do not love, and love means seeing, this is the beauty in English. You have two words. You can love or like. So when you like something, it's pleasurable and things, but when you love, you're able to, face the challenges and embrace them. Like a mom who has a kid, and you get up in the middle of the night to change the poopy diaper, it's not fun, but you learn to love it, because otherwise your baby would die. So that's the difference, is that anything you do not love, meaning anything you cannot be grateful for, you keep attracting, you attract ABC, you attract, become, or create over and over and over again, to force you to face the initial moment where the belief was connected. And from my experience, all emotions come from the illusion that we are unworthy of love. The core bobo, the core wound is the illusion that something is wrong with us for this to have happened. And I can talk and talk. You can stop me whenever you want. But from working with thousands of people, it's kind of like you start to see patterns, and like what works and what doesn't work. So I see that there are two stages to human development. The first stage is the unconscious, asleep infantile stage. We all go through that one. The second one is the conscious, awake, and mature stage. I call the first one the boot camp, or hell on earth. And two, I call it creating heaven on earth. And the difference between stage one and stage two is, in stage one, we get a sense of self from the way the world reacts to us. When the world reacts to us in a way that we like, I'm worthy, I'm deserving, I can have anything I want in life. But when the world does not, what's wrong with me? Why is this happening to me? And it can be something totally innocuous. Last week, it was so funny. One of my clients, we went back, she found the moment where she felt like she couldn't get everything she wanted in life, because she had asked for chocolate and she got chocolate, but it was a hollow chocolate.
Oh.
So that's why it doesn't have to be dramatic.
Right.
And I believe we actually subconsciously create the perfect story, so it's painful to drive us because we are unconscious in the first stage.
Mm.
You know,
Mhm.
and when you find, it's like me coloring in my coloring book. I was not like, we didn't fight or anything. It was just
Right.
coloring. So that's why it's important to have a tool in our back pocket. If you want to live a great life, you need to master the subconscious mind, because you can take you can read all the books, all the programs, even though they're amazing programs or coaching. If you don't have a tool to work with the subconscious mind, you will only rise up to the level that you feel your self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
So in stage one, we're constantly trying to manipulate the outside world to tell us how worthy we are. And that doesn't work so well because most people are busy with their own drama.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually when people come to see me. People come to see me because they're like, they lost their job, or they lost their finances, or they lost their spouse, or they lost their health. Like something dramatic happens, just like me, you know, when my father and all that. And they go, they gotta be a different way of living.
Mm-hmm.
And then by coincidence, okay, they find me,
Yeah.
or they listen to a podcast like this, and instead of waiting for the baseball bat, they get inspired. They go, oh, I want that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I love using this is actually, if you're not watching, if you're just listening, I'm using the Tao symbol, and it's the perfect visual for what it takes to live a successful life in a nutshell. Like it's very good for everybody to know this, and in your mind. So the yin is the female principle of listening, and our heart wants us to know two things. The first thing our heart wants us to know is we're worthy of love. I am convinced that the essence of each and every one of us is love.
Mm-hmm.
And we just put veils, stories in stage one when we're not getting the results we want. We start creating stories. Now we pile up those stories on our essence. So it's our job to take the time to let go of these stories. So that's the first thing your heart wants you to know. The second thing your heart wants you to know, it wants you to admit your dreams and aspirations. So that's the listening part. And then it's about organizing your time to give your heart what it wants.
So
Ta-da!
that's the yang. That's the yang.
That's the yang.
Okay.
And that takes care of depression, because I find often people are depressed because it's like right now, if we're speaking and while you're speaking, I'm looking away,
Mm-hmm.
you probably feel like I don't care about you. And if we were in a long time relationship, probably feel a bit depressed about it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you tell me that you like Thai food, and next time we get together and make a reservation at a Thai restaurant, you go, wow, you'd feel a little velour inside. You're like, wow, not only did she listen to me, but she did something for me.
Right.
And now, so when you yourself take the time to listen to your own heart and give it what it wants, it lifts the depression.
Mm.
Because depression comes from not feeling worthy of love, like
Right.
something is missing. So I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm a coach, but whenever I do this work or people learn to do it for themselves, the outcome is always the same thing. Every time you do the heart feeder method, you
Mm-hmm.
find gratitude for a part of your life that you were not aware was part of your divine design, that was part of your boot camp, that was there to drive you until you could wake up and start benefiting from everything you've learned in the boot camp, and now start to consciously create an amazing life.
Yeah.
That's the journey.
I love that. That's, I mean, those themes of like, I was just talking to someone the other day about the expression "no muck, no lotus," or "no mud, no lotus," or the obstacle is the way. Like using your life story, especially the hardships, to create like the life that you want. And
Everybody loves a good hero story.
yeah,
The highs, the lows, the way out.
yeah, that's true. So, what can you suggest if people are listening, if they want to start learning and figuring out how to clear their subconscious beliefs? Like, what can you advise people to do?
Well, I often give a webinar. You can come on a webinar. You can
Mm,
come and listen, and I can give you an experience of it. So if you just send an email to info@drlisejanelle.com, we'll send you the link for the next webinar. So that's an easy one.
okay.
For those of you who right now are listening, going, "Oh, I already know I want this," because I'm tired of hitting my head against the wall. I have an online program called Get Unstuck.
Perfect.
So it's really powerful. I love it, and you learn how to use the method in all the different areas of your life.
Your method is called the Heart Freedom Method,
Yeah,
right?
the heart feeder method. And you get one group coaching call with me every 2 weeks where you can come and ask questions and experience, and we do it together. And it's a beautiful experience. Or those of you who feel like, oh, I would love to work with her, I do one-on-one coaching. I
Hmm.
also have my coaches. You can work with some of my coaches that I have certified. They're amazing.
Hmm.
I've trained them by myself. And I also have a certification. So I have for
Wow,
any budget right now, wherever you're at, we can help you get what you really want.
amazing. Well, that's very exciting, and we'll definitely share those links with the show notes. So before we kind of sign off, what would be the one message that you would want to share with people who are listening right now, who are maybe struggling in one way or another and want to find a way to improve their overall health, wellness, vitality?
One thing that I can recommend is whenever you face a challenge,
Hmm.
take a deep breath in and go, since I'm worthy of love, how am I going to use this to my advantage? Since I'm worthy of love, how am I going to use this challenge to my advantage? Because it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And my experience has been that this is something you want to know. Whenever you face a challenge, there's only two reasons you face a challenge. One is it's asking you to master something, because obviously if you mastered it, it wouldn't be a challenge.
Right.
All right. Or it's sending you in a direction that you need to go, but you're not aware you need to go. Like me, I had no idea after this big boo-boo in 1988 that I was supposed to do what I'm doing. I was super happy, successful being a chiropractor. I had no idea. So it just sent me on this path that I am on. And sometimes people actually know, I need to leave this job right now, this person. And so it's kicking you into, so whenever we have a challenge, it's either because it's asking you to master something and or sending you in a new direction. So the more you take every challenge as a benefit, as something happening for you, the more you increase your inner peace. You won't
Hmm.
be afraid of the future. You'll have more joy, more gratitude for who you are, what you do, and what you have. And that's key for living a long, healthy life.
Yeah, thank you. That's very good advice. Sometimes hard to actually do in the moment for some people, obviously.
Yeah. So what I do is, like, we're human beings, suck your thumb for 5 minutes,
Right.
feel sorry for
Feel-
yourself,
Right.
and then,
Okay.
okay, I'm going to use this to my advantage.
Right. So give people the chance to just
Yes.
feel how much it sucks.
Yeah, exactly. You got to allow it that.
That's great advice. Okay, I have one more question actually. So talking it back to the subconscious beliefs, and you mentioned the woman who realized that story of the chocolate being empty in the middle. So how do you elicit those memories? Like what is that part of your heart freedom technique, or is
Yeah.
there what would you suggest to people to try to come up with those memories that might be sort of their
Yeah.
base of their subconscious beliefs?
That's the method that I teach. Like, even if
Okay.
I
Yeah.
give it to you right now,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
gonna fall
It's
flat.
a part of the method. Okay.
It's part of the
All
method.
in there. Okay.
But I can guarantee you that it's not complicated. One of my coaches, she has a 4-year-old,
Yeah.
and a 4-year-old told her, well, now she's 5. And when she was 4-year-old, she goes, Mommy, when we were in the car, I had car sickness and I did the heart feeder method, and it went back to when I
Oh,
was like a little kid and I was sitting in my high chair eating. And she had the whole story. And she
gosh.
said, I felt much better after.
Wow.
And
Wow.
now at 5 years old, the coach was mentioning like they were at a party and she's 5 years old and she's talking to this adult and she says to the adult, "So what do you think was the benefit of that?"
Oh my God, hilarious. She's coaching the adult.
So actually my biggest mission overall is actually this is what I'm dreaming of is if we could if all adults could learn how to do this, they would
Hmm.
they would be connected in their heart and then they could raise children who know that no matter what's happening on the outside, they're worthy of love.
Yeah,
We
I love
could
that.
we could transform the world. We all just need to know we're worthy of love.
I love that. That's a perfect way to end this conversation. Let's take that and go with that. Well, thank you so, so much. It's been wonderful talking to you, and I'm sure the listeners got so much out of it. And again, they can find out more on your website, and we'll share all the information on the show notes. So thanks again.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for another episode of Essential Wellness. If you are enjoying listening to this podcast, please subscribe, like, and share with others so everyone can find us. See you next time.